This is why spending $30,000 on renovations could cost you money instead of making you any money. That's right, folks. Imagine spending $30,000 renovating your property, only to get back $15,000 when you sell it. Yes, guys, congratulations. You just donated $15,000 to the next owner. Let me tell you a real incident. One of my followers came to me last year and said, "Hey Q, I'm about to spend $30,000 on my property before I sell. New kitchen, new bathroom, fresh carpets, nice backyard." And that sounds reasonable, right? But until we ran the numbers with him, after 10 minutes, he went very quiet. And not because the tradies were ripping him off, and not because the real estate agent was lying to him, but because he realized he picked the wrong upgrades. Now today, guys, I'm going to unpack the 5 renovation mistakes I see Aussie property owners make all the time. And stay to the end of the video because some of them will surprise you. Ouch! So in today's property roast, this is what we're unpacking. Today we'll cover why overcapitalizing is one of the biggest mistakes Aussie homeowners make. And number 2, the renovations that look amazing but rarely pay for themselves. And number 3, what buyers actually notice when inspecting homes. And number 4, the difference between renovating for lifestyle versus renovating for profit. And lastly, number 5, the practical renovation budget guide you can use before selling. So let's make it snappy, guys. Let's get into it. The first part, the biggest mistake isn't renovating, it's overcapitalizing. Like before we talk about kitchens, bathrooms, or backyards, we need to talk about the mistake that destroys more money than anything else. Overcapitalization. Yes, it sounds like a big word, but what it means is you spend more money improving a property than the market is willing to reward you for. Like think about it for a sec, right? You're bringing a Ferrari engine into a Honda Civic. Like sure, it's impressive, but nobody's paying Ferrari money for a Honda Civic or a Corolla. And property works exactly the same way. If comparable homes in your suburb are selling between $900,000 to $1.1 million, you cannot magically turn your property into a $1.4 million home because you installed luxury finishes. Like the market always has a ceiling. And once you hit that ceiling, every extra dollar spent over that will start incrementally produce smaller returns for you. And this is where most sellers get hurt. Because I'm telling you right now, 99% of them renovate based on emotion. But on the flip side of the market, the buyers, when they purchase based on market value. So this is where I lead into the second part of this video, the luxury kitchen fantasy. This is a killer for most property owners who are trying to sell their property. The kitchen is where I see the most money disappear. Like I speak to a lot of clients in the last 15 years, and most of the sellers I speak to when they're telling me, "Hey Q, it's time to sell my property and I need to release some cash out from here and there, up to sometimes $100,000. And they convince themselves, if I build a dream kitchen, buyers will pay dream prices. But unfortunately, buyers don't think like that. Research from the Australian Renovation and Property Studies consistently shows that kitchen renovations can add value, but returns often diminish sharply once the spending becomes excessive. And sometimes, guys, a mid-range kitchen renovation frequently performs better than a luxury renovation because it aligns with buyers' expectations for that suburb. But yet regularly when clients send me photos and go, "Hey Q,
look at the mad kitchen that I just installed."
I see stuff like imported stone bench tops, premium European appliances, custom carpentry, and designer lighting packages. Suddenly they spend about $80,000 to $90,000 on the kitchen. And this is when they're trying to sell their property in a suburb where buyers are expecting maybe $15,000 to $20,000 on the kitchen itself. I mean, don't get me wrong, the photos look incredible, but in terms of bank valuation, didn't improve that much. Because let me tell you the truth, guys, as a broker that does valuations for people that have renovated their property, right? Just because you spent a ton of money on the kitchen itself or the bathroom, whatever you've improved in that property, the bank will apply their valuation on this property as comparable to the last 6 months sales history of comparable sales. And sometimes this reality will limit someone's borrowing capacity when trying to buy your property. For example, you're trying to sell it at a $200,000 more, right? If the bank valuation on your property is not $200,000 more, the person that's trying to buy your property and obviously get a home loan to get that property, the bank will value it $200,000 less, which means they have about $200,000 less in borrowing power to buy your property, which means the buyer practically can't buy your property because it's overcapitalized. That's why it's so important when people come to me and go, "Hey Q, I'm planning to sell my property and do blah, 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 blah." I say, hey, stop. Let's do a bank valuation right now to capture what this property is worth. And then maybe go through AI and ChatGPT or whatever, just to model, if you inputted this much work onto the property, how much realistic growth you'll get from the extra stuff that you're going to add into this property. And how does that fit into your expected selling price versus real data should be selling price. And if there's a big gap, mate, you need a slap in the face. So right now, let's go to part 3 of this video, the backyard money pit. Like Australians, like Aussies like us, we love entertainment. We love our barbecues, right? We love the outdoor living, and we love pretending we spend every weekend outside. Not myself, I'm a bloody introvert. I like to be indoors and recording videos like this, right? So what happens is many sellers spend enormous amounts of money building stuff like outdoor kitchens, luxury pergolas, extensive decking, fire pits, premium landscaping. And you know what the problem is? Most buyers don't pay dollar for dollar for outdoor upgrades. Especially if you have someone like myself who's an introvert, who doesn't like going outdoors, who's basically a bloody nerd that likes to be in front of my computer monitor every day. I don't give a crap how much money you spend outdoors, right? But then I hear you say, hey Q, not everyone's like you. I know. But not every buyer out there would appreciate the stuff that you've done in your backyard, because to be honest, the average punters out there, the average buyers, what they really want is usable space, low maintenance, and good presentation. They don't necessarily need your, $90,000 plus outdoor resort, right? Like in my experience helping clients buy property with their buyer's agents and then our independent financial advisor, I rarely hear people in terms of the buyer side, them saying, oh, I'm so happy to pay another $80,000 because of that outdoor kitchen. But what they usually say is, oh, I like that backyard, but it's not a deal breaker, right? So what I'm trying to say is luxury doesn't always pay, which now leads me to the fourth part of this video, the bathroom trap. Like bathrooms are another emotional purchase for homeowners, right? Like what they do is they imagine buyers walking into their bathroom and being blown away by the floor to ceiling marbles, rainfall showers, heated flooring, luxury fittings, because the reality is buyers mostly care only for if the bathroom looks modern, it's clean, and it's easy to maintain. But according to Australian renovation research, it consistently shows bathrooms can add value, but like kitchens, the returns decline rapidly once spending exceeds market expectations. So if your current bathroom looks tired and outdated, yes, renovate it. Absolutely. But if you're spending luxury hotel money in a middle-class suburb, you're probably helping the next owner build equity, not yourself. And before I move into the next segment where I show you the ideal budget range you should be spending on certain parts of the renovation, I want to slide in another thing that buyers secretly hate, but a lot of sellers are doing to their current homes when selling their property. And the thing is, the brand new carpet. Like this one surprises most people. Like many sellers think, oh, fresh carpet equals instant value. But in reality, in 2026, I don't think buyers see it that way anymore. Especially young buyers I see, especially young families, and especially pet owners. Like in the past years when they engage our independent buyer's agent and, they're in Sydney and I come along, I walk through countless open homes with clients. And when buyers see quality timber flooring, hybrid flooring, or engineered boards, they get excited. I can see it on their faces. But when buyers see wall-to-wall carpet, many, I'm telling you, immediately start calculating replacement costs. They think to themselves, how long before this carpet stains? How often do I need to clean this? What happens when the kids spill something? And what if I want hard flooring instead? Like the flooring itself isn't necessarily the issue. It's just that the modern buyers' preferences have shifted. And in many markets, guys, if you plan to renovate, simple hard flooring, it actually creates a stronger first impression than a brand new carpet. So right now, if you stayed to this far in the video, congrats. This is where I'll talk about what would I actually spend my money on if I was preparing a property for sale. And in the guide that I'm going to show up here, we'll show you what I'll focus on. So this is just personally my humble opinion, right? It's not the definitive guide. So this is something I just did in Word, just to collect my thoughts, right? It's called the High Renovation Return Guide, whatever name you want to put it in, but just basically my opinion, right? Internal paint, I will say up to 30 grand. If you're spending over 3 grand, you're overcapitalizing, right? Professional styling, up to 2 grand. Yes, hire a professional stylist. If you're really crap with your creativity skills, right? Don't go with it, right? Like, don't put some purple feature wall and then everything else is white and go, oh yeah, that looks great. That looks great. That will sell. Nah, don't go by your own judgment, right? Hire an expert. Landscaping and tidying, up to 5K. I wouldn't spend more than 5K. That's my opinion. A new door, handles and fixtures, up to 3 grand, right? Modern lighting, 1 to 5 grand. Kitchen cosmetic refresh, 5 to 20 grand. Bathroom cosmetic refresh, 3 to 15 grand. Pressure cleaning, external refresh, 500 to 3,000, and flooring upgrades where needed. I would spend maybe 5 to 8 grand, right? All this stuff should be between 30 to 50 Gs, right? Depending on the current presentation of your property, right? Because I'm telling you right now, guys, the best renovations are usually boring, right? The paint, the presentation, the lighting, and then the styling, the minor cosmetic renovations. And this is what I call property makeup, right? You're not trying to renovate this property so that you could keep living in this property, right? You're planning to sell this joint, right? So if you're planning to sell this joint, just, give us some makeup here and there, right? Don't go and buy, Maybelline and all these expensive makeup. Go to some reject shop and buy those cheap makeup, right? Not to do like some bad job, just good enough that you could sell the property. Because most often enough, if you have an old property, right? A lot of people are buying your property to do a renovation anyway, right? Like they're trying to buy an upper fixer, for example, right? So you might be on a good street, you got a crappy looking property and you think, hey, let's just upgrade this property to look like the old mate next door, right? No, you're just adding premium prices on top of it, which makes it hard to sell. You just need to make it up a bit, give it a bit of eyelashes or whatever blush, and you'll find out by spending just this much actually get you a bigger return. Not the other way around. Not overcapitalizing and thinking you'll get a bigger return. No, you'll get probably a smaller return. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, and you want to have more information about this and pick my brain, I do suggest you do 3 things. You either book the 15-minute strategy call, which I call a triage call, for me to quickly go in, see what your situation is, give you that reality slap, give you that game plan, and then give you the accountability of following up with you. Otherwise, if you want a longer call with me and you want to jump on Zoom, go through a lot of things that I go through, which is draw diagrams and dissect every different scenarios, book the 60-minute deep dive call, right? Or if you want a comprehensive team to work around you, independent financial advisor, independent accountant, independent buyer's agent, and independent solicitor, plus myself in a team, book the 90-minute platinum accelerator call. And also, guys, if you want someone to project manage the whole experience, for example, I don't want to deal with a broker, I don't want to deal with a financial advisor, I don't want to deal with an accountant, I don't want to deal with a buyer's agent. I want someone to project manage this whole experience and help me build a property portfolio up to 3 through either using personal name, trust, and you just get a weekly coaching call just to tell you where you're at, just like we're building a house, right? We're at stage 1, and then every week we're at stage 2, 3, 4. If you want that type of service, we have a new service which is called the Gen W Access, so the generational wealth access, right? You might be Gen X, Gen Y, or Millennial, right? We will turn you into Gen W, generational wealth. If you want that, just click on whatever links are here and then suss it out. But if you're not ready, that's cool. Just keep binging on my videos. Hit a like if you like this video, hit a follow if you want more videos like this. And most importantly, smash the share button, share it to your mates, your colleagues, your family, because knowledge is power. And that's the only way to end the generational poverty curse in your family and their family, by spreading knowledge into your community. And hopefully it wakes someone up and suddenly you realize you're in the matrix, you're being controlled, the system is against you, and you want to end that generational poverty curse in your family. Then please share this video. And until next time, I hope to see you in the next few days.